All right, now here we get to the actual topic of the show. We are going through 5 mediocre, 4 meh, 3 bad, 2 awful, and 1 Gollum on the Kind of Funny scale. Like I said, things might get a little bit spicy. I know I just spent the last 15 minutes talking, but I want to start this off with what I think a 5 out of 10 mediocre video game is, and it's going to set the internet ablaze.
Oh.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh.
Too high.
Too high.
You're saying too high?
Sonic Adventure too high. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, we haven't even played it.
Honestly, I've only played like the beginning levels of it, and
The
I was
best
like,
parts?
fuck that.
Yeah.
If those are the best parts, this might be a 3 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, here's the thing. Sonic Adventure 2 is a 5 out of 10 mediocre video game. Another example of a game I love and hold very dearly to my heart and my nostalgia, and the nostalgia fuels a lot of the positivity I have towards the game. Is the game cool as hell? Yes, in many ways. Is the game lame as hell? Yes, in probably more ways than it is cool. I love the soundtrack. I love the Sonic and Shadow levels. They're amazing. They're so much fun. But even then, they're also kind of wonky, and unless you know exactly the way the game wants you to play it and control the camera, and you're going for those S ranks, which you can do, and there is fun there. That's a very niche type of fun, though. I do not think that that is the way the majority of people are experiencing Sonic Adventure 2.
BKD, I would never touch this kind of shit with a 10-foot pole. Can I get some footage here of Sonic Adventure 2, if you don't mind?
So Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, I think, is important to note. 3 very distinct gameplay styles.
Oh, Kevin, don't bother hitting on the little cog trying to get it better. You're not getting better than 240p on this guy.
3 different gameplay styles where there was Sonic and Shadow going through, and what you'd think of more traditional Sonic, where it's like fast-paced 3D platformer, 2D platformer at some points. Mainly 3D though. Then there was the Knuckles and Rouge levels, which were kind of like you're exploring a big open space trying to find these emeralds, like they were hidden under sand. And then there were the Dr. Robotnik and Tails levels that were you're kind of in a mech walking around blowing shit up. Out of all those levels, Sonic and Shadow were the only fun ones. Like, let's just all be real here. The Knuckles and Rouge ones, Rouge, who the hell cares, man? Those things could have been so much better because those characters were fun to play as, to move around. But the digging and finding the emeralds, it was just bullshit. Like, there was no great design to that at all. And then the Tails and Robotnik stuff, utterly forgettable. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of fun to love about this game. And I feel like the quirkiness of it gives it a lot of points, and the style of it gives it a lot of points to get it up to that 5 out of 10 mediocre.
Okay.
Right.
Fair enough.
Bless.
It's funny because I wrote these down last week, and I'm like, do I consider these 5s or do I consider these 6s now?
Oh.
Because like I have Outriders here, and I'm like, actually, Outriders I would say is okay. So I'm gonna move that up to a 6. Stranger Paradise Final Fantasy Reunion is another one I have here, and I think in talking to Andy last week, like we're kind of having the conversation about how much of Stranger Paradise is intentional versus non-intentional, because it is, regardless of like the quality of writing in some points, even those bad quality of writing moments are still fun, right? Like I still laugh when he calls Chaos a bitch. I don't know if I can't remember if he says bitch verbatim, but he calls Chaos a lot of things. And like looking back, I'm still like, there was an amount of enjoyment I got out of it, and I played through this game, and if I could go back in time, I wouldn't stop myself from playing this game. And so like I think I'll move up to a 6, which leaves here this game 5 dates. And like I might use this as like a catch.
5 dates is the one we're putting on.
Honestly, a good pick. That's the thing is, I think this might be my catch-all for like a lot of those like Wales Interactive, like FMV games,
vids,
where it's like this is janky, this is weird. These are like not good, but also they are fun if you just accept them for what they are. They're short. They're like.
Are they still putting these out? Because
it's been a minute.
You and me on PSL Live, you talked a lot about the Wales Interactive FMV games. And it seemed like they had one a year for a while. There maybe even 2 at some point.
Maybe we stopped paying attention to them because I know what
it looks like. Their last one was 2021 Bloodshore, which we played.
We played Bloodshore,
the Battle Royale
but
one.
No, they put out 10 dates since then because I played 10 dates I think last year.
10 dates. I was gonna say 5 dates is 2020.
Yeah, so maybe they've just been hit with the recession or something. But yeah, like 10 dates I'll also put up there. Like the games aren't really well acted, but they serve a purpose. That's the thing is like they serve their function well enough to where I'm like, these aren't bad. They're fun times that I would have my friends that I'll play at least once, maybe 4 times in the case of 10 dates. But I wouldn't really recommend them to anybody legitimately. Like, if I'm recommending a FMV game, I'm gonna be like, play Immortality, right? Like, play any of those games, honestly.
Any Sam Barlow stuff.
Yeah, but these are such like guilty pleasure junk food sort of games that, like, for me, even though I would say like, oh yeah, they're mediocre, you know, I still like them. I still flock to them. And so I think that's my pick. But even Tim mentioning Sonic Adventure 2 made me think about Sonic Forces. And I think Sonic Forces might also be a 5 out of 10 for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good call. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered with premium, polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that I've ever worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go. GoFest is next week, and I'm going to be wearing my Shady Rays. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. But exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. You can head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades.
This episode is brought to you by A Better Paradise. From the writers of the Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto series comes the new immersive audio fiction podcast, A Better Paradise, Volume 1 and Aftermath. Set in the near future, A Better Paradise tells the story of the ill-fated development of an ambitious but addictive digital game world project led by inventor and psychologist Dr. Mark Tyburn. As the advanced software they developed began to deliver unexpected and disturbing results, the team fell apart under strange circumstances and the project was abandoned. The game world and the super intelligence within were discarded, left dormant and undiscovered. Until now. I listened to episode 1 on my way to work today, and the thing that stood out, of course, are the performances, but then as an audio drama fan, it was the use of monologues. There's a whole bunch of talking here as it sets up the world that is not that far from us in the timeline and also not that far from us in the technology, which is disturbing, but I'm quite interested to see where it goes. A Better Paradise is out now and available everywhere you get your podcasts. Go listen today, and don't forget to follow A Better Paradise on your platform of choice to make sure you never miss an episode.
Mike?
Yeah, this one's tough for me. I had a really tough time looking at the second half of the list. I don't think I've played a lot of bad games. I know that, but I think it's just tough to like think of those and recall them. I think I remember some of like the bad games and the moments, but I don't remember like sitting with them long. I'm definitely a person of like, if I'm not vibing, I'm going to leave pretty quick here. And so I struggled on this list, but I did find one that's mediocre to me. A mediocre game, less than okay. Mediocre is I find some fun in it, but it's kind of just like, okay, it was there and it came and went. And for me, that's Dead Rising 4, right? I think of Dead Rising 3 and 4 in that era of Dead Rising of how much fun I had with 1 and 2. And I think it was the selection of being in that mall or the casino in more of a closed area. And then when we went to the first ever Hell A and Dead Rising 3, right? And it became this kind of big open zone, open world mess of a game. And Dead Rising 4 for me was mediocre, right? I think you can find fun in being Frank West, going back to Colorado and smashing a bunch of zombies. But all of a sudden we started to really add vehicle combat. We lost the really fun and intense moments of those psychopath fights, and it just never felt the same to me. And so 3 into 4 at that early Xbox One era as well, where you were really hoping for something.
Trying to find something.
They were trying, and I think they were just going with the times, right? It was all about these big open world games that you could just stay in for a while, and just it never was the same. And so mediocre to me. I had fun, right? There was moments where I laughed and I enjoyed it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the same as the first 2.
It's that thing where when you start getting into the Dead Rising universe and moving through, they all somehow run together, because number 3 was the motorcycle one, right? Where the dude was trying to save his daughter and riding his motorcycle.
That's,
I reviewed it. Is that 2? That's 2.
In the casino,
okay.
yep.
Yeah. And then what was 3's?
3, he goes to L.A. and it's like a young kid. It's not Frank West, and that's when they started adding a lot of big vehicles.
And this is the one that's just so it was Christmas oriented again. You were franking, and this is the launch one.
We went back to
Xbox.
Xbox One had Dead Rising 3, so I don't know when.
See,
it's
all just a blur to me anymore with it. Because everybody, I think every one of them, 2, 3, 4, all are trying to recapture Dead Rising 1.
Correct.
Which in so many ways was lightning in a bottle, and was so many. It was the powerhouse of the 360 of look how many zombies we can put on screen. You're playing Dead Rising, and you're of course going, man, this is like Dawn of the Dead. I'm in a mall. Like it was doing the zombie tropes, putting in the Capcom stuff, introducing psychopaths, doing all these like really novel concepts that really established what that was. And then every time someone tried to ape it, they just couldn't find the fun.
Yeah. I mean, this was an era of like Dead Island as well. We were getting a lot of like these big open world zombie games, and 1 into 2 where they started, you could grab items and put them together like we talked about when we were excited for Dead Rising 1 and what Dead Rising 2 did. But 3, like I said, added these vehicles that just never felt right. And then 4, it was like, oh man, we're not getting back to what it was. And like I said, you could have fun killing zombies mindlessly, but at the end of the day, it just was a mediocre game.
Greg, what is a 5 to you?
5 mediocre. I put Immortals of Avium. Of course, we've talked a lot about this game in terms of, their Studio Ascendant laying people off, winding down, the reaction to this. Ascendant Studios comes up all the time in the conversation of, hey, we're a bunch of talented AAA devs who are going off on our own, and we're all going to come together, and we're making a quadruple game, a game on a double A, blah, blah, blah. And you get this game in the end, Immortals of Avium, published by EA, right, from Ascendant, that had cool ideas, and I just think had too much scope for its own good in terms of what they were trying to do, what they were trying to create, what they were trying to launch. And for me, it's one of those games that I played for review, played all the way through, wasn't that far off on a lot of the platinum chasing things, but just could never and would never be bothered to go back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I remember at the preview event when you sat there and you played it and it was like, okay, like I don't get it. And it's obviously, as always, reviews are eye of the beholder. And I've been, here so many months since we reviewed this and had people come up to me like, oh, I forget which show it was, where there was a conversation about like, oh, the gameplay actually was very innovative and intuitive. And that never was the case for me, right? You're using magic, sure, but you have a shotgun blast, you have a sniper blast, you have a machine gun, you know what I mean? Like you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it was this thing that I played all the way through, and I remember liking Jack's relationship with his mentor that you just saw a little bit earlier, and honestly, that's about it, right? Like, there's no, like, I played that entire game, and I rolled credits on that game, and that game is lost to the ether of something I had a fine enough time with that I'm never looking. I remember I liked her looking at this and like begging for a sequel, nor do I remember the story, nor do I remember really thrilling gameplay moments when it's a magic shooter. I remember when you went and previewed it, you came back and you're like, yeah, this is a bunch of former Call of Duty people making a magic shooter. And you jump in there, and when I previewed it and they were like, oh, we're trying to be like a Marvel movie, and like their opening credits had that, and there's vibes to that. But again, I think it suffers from trying, as we talk about these AA studios from AAA people, trying to go far too big with your first swing. Yeah. And so you can't keep all the tent poles up, so it sags in places and collapses in other places where it would have benefited them to make a smaller scope game, get it out quicker, I think, introduce us to these characters and drip feed it a bit better than this.
Cozy Bear super chats in saying Paper Mario Sticker Star is a 5 out of 10 game. Its gameplay was severely dumbed down compared to its predecessors, and it set its series on a bad path for years, but it's too polished to be outright bad. I think that is an incredible, very succinct way to put the legacy of Paper Mario Sticker Star. Super chat in if y'all have games that you want to put on any of these numbers here.